Hello, it's Victor again with the Junkyard. Now, I love video game reviews.
Angry video game nerd and irate gamer, zero punctuation and the Spoonie experiment. Even the nostalgia critic took a stab at a video game review.
Well, I think it's high time I get on this bandwagon. From now on, just call me the irate, zero punctuation, video game Spoonie, critic. Or don't.
Only a couple of problems though. One is that I don't have any way to get video or even picture captures off a game. I can work around this with the lame Googled images, so okay. The other problem? Well, I haven't owned a gaming console since the Sega Genesis 2, my first and last. Nor did I really own or play minigames for it.
Okay, so this was a dumb idea for a review. Not that that's going to stop me. I'm going to go ahead and review all the games I remember playing so far as I can remember them.
The first game I remember playing back in the early 90s was some sort of racing game, I don't know. But the one that really left an impression, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Man, was this fun. This was the one I kept coming back to, this was the one I still get urges to play, it's that addicting. You move fast, you jump on enemies, you find your way around, what's not to like? And the Knuckles cartridge thing was also a neat little accessory, but I still favor Tails. Always gotta root for the underdog, or under fox. Now I didn't seek out any merchandise beyond just the game, but I did watch the cartoon. Well, one of the cartoons. The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was a fun, colorful show with goofy bad guys and corny jokes. Again, just plain fun. But then there's just Sonic the Hedgehog, which was much darker. I mean, I only saw parts of a couple of episodes. I was looking through the TV schedule one Saturday and I'm like, ooh, Sonic's on! So I turn on the TV and there's Sonic, sure. But he's talking to his uncle, apparently turned into a robot slave out of killing him. Damn! Damn! That's scary. He's a little blue hedgehog fighting a fat man and his robots. How do you turn that into a tragic hero fighting someone who makes Hitler look like King Arthur? Jeez. And fortunately I never saw an episode of Sonic Underground. Now I never actually beat STH2, more because of my crippling ADD than a lack of skill, though that was a factor. But here are a couple of games I did beat, not that that says much about me as a player. First is Garfield, Public Exposure. Caught in the Act. A game I got about a year after Jim Davis stopped writing comics in lieu of milking his creations for merchandising, and about a year prior to me realizing this. In any case, the game wasn't that bad. The controls were a little jerky, but it had some creative sets and ideas. The funny thing about it is, the first level was, to me, the hardest, while the end boss is almost a pushover. Another game, also based on copyrighted characters, was Desert Demolition, with Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, with guest appearances by other Looney Tunes characters. You could play as either the bird or the dog. Now this left me conflicted. From a purely gamer standpoint, I would have to choose Roadrunner. I'm all about speed, having been brought into gaming by a speedster, but as a fan of the cartoons I had to play as Wile E, being both a nerd and an underdog myself. In any case, the decision was pretty much made for me, as the Roadrunner was basically the easy setting, while Wile E was hard. Even Warner Brothers itself must realize that its audience sympathizes with the Coyote, since they made winning the game with him the actual goal. Unfortunately, I'll spoil it for you here that while the Roadrunner does get a solid victory over Wile E, to the point where he for some reason throws himself out a window, Wile E just gets an Acme Customer of the Year award. I guess I didn't expect Wile E to tear apart and devour the Roadrunner on screen, but I do still feel ripped off. A later game I found, but again did not beat, was Ristar. Not much to say about the game. It had a good design, a fun and intuitive interface, and one of the most original attacks I've ever seen, the Super Headbutt. Another game, which I thought could have been a big name for Sega, I liked it so much, was Vector Man. Again, it had a great design, challenging levels that had to be beaten by a combination of timing and occasional problem solving, and possibly the best power-up system I've ever seen. The power-ups allow Vector to turn into a number of cool devices or shapes. I recently saw on Video Game Vault that the likely reason Vector Man has been so overlooked was due to its late release date, making it easily ignored amidst all the new consoles. Probably the last game I ever bought for the Genesis took me back full circle. Sonic 3D Blast. Not that bad of a game, honestly, but I just couldn't get into it. My mind has never really been able to adjust to the 3D thing, even today. Just give me a colorful, fast-paced 16-bit 2D platformer and I'm happy as a clam. No real desire to go crawling around a brownish-gray 3D environment, no real desire for polygons no matter how many I'm promised. So yeah, I jumped off the boat a little bit before Sonic and Friends could get to this point, and I was so sure that this guy was just a fan-made parody when I first saw him. And this? What the hell is this? Well, checking Wikipedia, it's supposed to be a bat. A sexy bat. Lordy. Okay, I don't see a problem making sexy video game characters. We'd all go for Lara Croft in a moment, and I won't look down on you harshly for finding Felicia attractive, though those paws really creep me right the hell out. But this? Yikes. Okay, it's a cartoon. That's one level of sexual weirdness. It's an animal. That's another leap. But what takes it into the level of mega nasty is the fact that this thing doesn't look anything like either a bat or a human. It's just an abstraction, yet they gave it boobs and hips. Just Googling this character, Rouge, showed me some of the most disturbingly bizarre porn I've ever seen. What, are they going to give Sonic a visible crotch bulge in the next game? Can you get any more awkward and ridiculous? That is one gay hedgehog.
Well, that's about it. Soon my interest in playing video games wore down, as did my Sega Genesis itself. These days, if I want a video game fix, I'll just go online and play one of those free Flash games. But I still remember fondly those days of innocence and attention deficit that I shared with my Sega Genesis. Well, this has been Victor with the Junkyard. See you again soon.